Continue. Thank you. Good morning, class.
Good morning, sir.
My screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So basically, last lecture we have seen the introduction regarding the subject, that is software engineering. Why there is need to go for studying this subject called as what software engineering, and what are the points we are going to cover. The basic idea, we have just compared it with the civil engineering. Because you are quite familiar with your first year subject, you might have seen that subject. So I have just taken a sample from civil engineering, and then we have started with actual concept part, the need to go for the subject, or basically we can say why there is need to go for introducing this subject. So we says that we need to think about the three perspectives to make the project successful. The first is we need to always give the focus that complete the project within time, that is no late will be allowed it. So focus on the time limit, deadline. At the same time, we need to think about the budget, that is cost, and the most important point, keeping the customers at on the priority. So what customer can able to achieve, whether it is as per his or her expectations or not. So we are calling it is in the terms of a quality as per the customers expected. So we need to combine these all the factors to achieve the project successful. We need to go for the software engineering introduction. Then whatever the things we have done so far, we need to focus on the process. Simply remember, you might have seen the term process is in operating system concept part, we can say process is nothing, program which is in the thread, or the sequence of the programs which are going to get executed, we call it as what process. So process means, always remember, it is one method in which you will get some input, you will work on that input, and you will get output. We call it as what? Process. So process simply provides us a guidelines, what to do, how to do, when to reach at a certain goal. We call it as what? Process. So the main aim of introducing the software engineering to your class is to understand the different methods, process, and techniques and approaches which are required to develop high quality software products within schedule and budget. So let us take example. Suppose I'm in a Pandharpur and I just want to reach to Solapur. So from Pandharpur to Solapur, I can reach. There are different ways. I can take the help of ST, government bus. I can take the help of railway. I can take the help of my private vehicle, or if there is a facility, I can take the help of aeroplane also. Just imagine or just assume. So you have to decide how much budget is your. If you have a good budget, you can think about even private jet also. But if there is an issue regarding the budget, you need to think accordingly. So whether I can go with a railway, bus, or my own vehicle. So that will be understanding the methods which you want to apply depending on the budget. Second is, suppose there is no issue regarding the budget, but the time we have to reach within before 1 hour. So what you will prefer to go there with a private jet. So again, some decisions we need to take based on the time also, time, budget, and quality. Quality means that customer has to decide it. So by considering these all factors, we need to think about the scenarios. What are the options available? Yes, any issue there? Yakub, you have raised your hand.
No, sir. No, sir.
Am I audible? My screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this SDLC, that is software engineering concept, will help us to understand this basic scenario.
Recording.
Okay. So when we think about the methods or a process or the techniques, we need to be thorough into the project scenario. So the one who is expert into that has to finalize the different types of resources available, different deadlines within which the project is to be get completed, then the different conditions. So for that, we need to understand the entire project scenario. And the main aim that we will apply here is knowing each and everything. After knowing only, we can start work on that particular project scenario. That is what one of the most point that we need to highlight. Then second is what we can say when we are thinking about the different quality standards we need to find out, and always there is a scope for the improvement to go for the project scenario and all. So while considering that project scenario, we need to set or we need to understand the different quality standards used in software system and agile project management process. So this agile is the new concept. Earlier, there was a different scenarios like waterfall process model, then spiral model, then Bohem model. Sometimes it is known as a Bohem model also. Then prototyping model, iterative prototyping model. So many different models were there, but which was adhered to their process and has some kind of a limitations. So to solve such a limitations, always there is a kind of innovations to develop the product, and the latest technique which get applied to develop the software project is agile process. So we are going to study that agile project management process also as a last chapter from the section 1. Separate chapter is get introduced, which is a very important part. So this is about the basic idea about the software engineering introduction. Then we have discussed why to go for learning this subject. The basic idea why to go for the software engineering, I have said in the 3 words, that is to increase the project success, to increase the project success, and to increase the project success rate. Because we know everything, but that whatever we will do, we have to do with the utmost care, maintaining the time, budget, and quality parameters the customer expected. So that's why we are going to learn the software engineering. You might have seen C programming concept, then C++ also. I hope now you are going to do the Java programming also, or you might have done the Java programming also. So in C, while you are writing the code, so each and everything you need to remember as a coder or as a developer, correct? Are you getting what I want to say? What I'm saying that while you are writing a program in C, you need to think about each and everything. Now it covers 2 parts. The first, we need to think about the logic, and second, we need to think about the syntax. If my syntax wrong, my program will not run. If my logic is wrong, my program will not run. So being as a developer or being as a coder, at a time, you need to give the concentration on program logic plus program context, means what the word syntax you are going to write, correct? Reply please, yes, no.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now just what I want to say is there is one tool which will focus on context part. You no need to remember the context, but you need to focus on the programming logic. What I'm saying that there will be one software, that software will take care about your programming context part, means whatever you are writing. Suppose I'm writing a program in Java, and while writing a program in Java and I forget system dot. So what is the next part? Suppose I forget, but there is a tool will automatically give you system.out.println. So no need to remember the syntax. You just need to remember the project or your program logic. Will definitely it will help. Yes, it will help to develop or focus only on the logical part. And second, I can able to complete my project within the given deadline by using such scenarios. So use of such, for example, in Java, you no need to open the notepad, write the program. While writing the program, need to remember the syntax, then save the program. then go to the compile, open the program, and execute the program. It was so time consuming. So there are some case tools. There are some case tools, for example, Eclipse, where once you started to write the program, no need to remember the syntax. Only you need to focus on the logical part. So such scenarios are called as what? Case environments, which is known as computer-aided software engineering. Getting what I want to say? Any example there in such case of C, C++ that you are aware? Or you can search on the internet also after the lecture, or whenever you get a free time. Case environments for the C programming, case environments for the C++, and Java I have told you, JBeans is there, then Eclipse is there. Many tools are there that you can use, where you just need to focus on the logical parts. Syntax parts means whatever, means suppose I want to connect a database, only drag and drop options are also there. No need to remember that particular code, but you need to remember which table or which database you are creating, how many tables will be there, what will be the syntax for these. That only parts you need to concentrate. Rest of the things will be taken care by the tool itself. So we are going to study the case environment, that is computer-aided software engineering. And use of these case environments will definitely help us to go for more and more quality scenarios. Suppose, let's take a simple example. Suppose today you are in the market and you want to purchase one of the electronic, what we can say, any electrical product. Suppose you are just planning to purchase a fridge. So which product you will prefer?
5-star.
5-star. Okay, very good, very good. So what that indicates 5-star? 5-star indicates that whatever the product developed is developed with following standards. And what are that standards? Maybe, for example, ISI standards. Getting? So that 5-star rating can able to understand by anyone that the company which has developed that product by following all the standards. Correct? Na? So now tell me, suppose I have so many different companies there. For example, Infosys, Wipro, TCS, Cognizant, Accenture, and many companies are there. And I just want to know which company is working with what standards. What are the standards on which they are working? How we will came to know about this? Can anyone? Any guess? Maybe wrong, doesn't matter, but be interactive, guys. What I am asking, if you are in a market, want to purchase a product, any electrical product, you will look towards a 5-star rating, or maybe whether the product is ISI marked or not. So similarly, if you are in the IT market and you want to give your project to one of the company, or you want to purchase a product from any of the company, so which company you will prefer? There should be some standards to map the IT companies, or whether they will work with their own scenarios. Is it so? No, no. There should be some standards, and that
Yes, sir.
standard should be get maintained. And whether they are following their standards or not, how we will come to know? Hello?
We will check company culture.
How? Because you are outside of the company. If once you are in the company, you can easily judge the company, but outside of the company, and you want to judge, your answer is correct, but that when you will be inside the company. So how you will come to know that what is the status of Infosys today, or what is the status of TCS today? See, we all
By
are
discussing the previous
yes.
clients of
Chinmay,
that
can you
company.
repeat? Chinmay, can you repeat?
Sir, by discussing the previous clients of that company, what are their reviews? We have to find it.
Only one question. With whom you will discuss? With company people? Yes, Chinmay, you will discuss with that company people.
No, sir, we have to discuss with their previous clients. What are their opinions, reviews about that company, whether they have provided the successful project or not.
Okay, okay. Forget all the things. I will take one simple example. You just want to take an admission to any engineering college, for example, and there are so many engineering colleges. So you have to take the decision in which college you want to take the admission. So how you select the college, or how you given the preferences to the college. 7, 8 colleges are there. So what you will check about that college, what is the result of that college, how many teaching faculty is there. So that you will come to know when you enter into the campus. But the thing is that IT company does not allow you to enter into their premises unless and until there is special conditions. So how we will come to know about being as a customer? So what we prefer, whether that particular college is NAC accredited, NBA accredited, or any other like ISO accredited, or whether ISO certified or not, that we will try to find out what kind of a standard process they are running. Similarly, any IT company, whether they are following their processes or not, will be get verified by the third party, and that third party will come like that. In I have just discussed with you that the Apex Institute, our college is affiliated to Punyashlok Ahilya Holkar Solapur University, Solapur. So we are affiliated to Solapur University, and all the rules regulations are designed by AICT. So whether we are following all rules of AICT or not, if you ask, we will say yes, we are following 100%, but that should be get verified by the third party, neither by AICT nor by university. The third party, we are calling them as a NAC or NBA or ISO. So they will come to our premises, they will visit our premises, they will interact with each stakeholder of the institute and understand whether we are following all rules or not. So that is called as what? Audit system. So similarly, whatever the IT companies are there, maybe Infosys, maybe TCS, maybe Wipro, or any other company, they need to submit their data to the third party, and third party comes to their premises, performs the audit, and based on the audit they gives the ranking, and that ranking in the software industries are called as what? CMM ranking, which stands for capability maturity model. Remember, CMM, which stands for capability maturity model. So whenever you visit any IT company's website, always make an habit daily to visit any IT company's website, understand that company. For example, today you decided to visit the TCS. So open the website of a TCS. Within first 2-3 paragraphs, they might have mentioned on which CMM standard they are working. So basically in CMM, there are 6 levels called as what? IRDMO, which stands for initial, repeatable, defined, managed, and optimized. These are the basic 5 levels on which the company profile is going to get work. I stands for initial, means the company is working on the standard, but that standards on their own platforms. So we are calling as what? Initial. Next is repeatable. Second is defined, IRDM and IRDMO. So last phase they are running with optimized. So we need to understand in detail, we are going to discuss in the first chapter itself. So any software company which are running with the different standards, that standards will be decided on which level of the CMM company they are working. So we need to understand that's the project scenario on which they are working. And second, after completion of all the 5, 6th process is coming as a I part. Means they have done all the 5 and they are going for newer version. In the 6th process, we are calling as what? In bracket capital I. So whenever you will get a free time, kindly make an habit to visit the websites of various companies, understand the company, present CEO, because when you will appear for the interview, there will be a formal questions. during the HR, who is the CEO of a company, what is the total turnover of the company, on which different project company is working right now, what is the CMM level. Similarly to that, there are ISO levels are also, but in as far as the IT industries are considered, most preferences is given on CMM model, that is capability maturity model. I hope you got the basic idea. Any doubts so far? Whatever the points I have covered, everything is clear. Any question?
No, sir.
Sure. So this model helps the organization put their software development and management process in the place. So we are going to study how to achieve the CMM level. What are the basic things we need to take into the consideration, and once we achieve that level, how we will execute it for the upcoming projects. So that the things we are going to study inside the term called as one software engineering. Then what are the goals of software engineering? So the first is, I can say that to improve the quality of the software product, if definitely our first priority will be on quality. Then to increase the productivity, being as an engineering process, we will concentrate on throughputs. That throughputs is again productivity, and to give the job satisfaction to the software engineer. So what we need to decide the different roles, what are the different roles are there, and which role we are going to face. We need to understand that role, and with respect to that role, a satisfaction that whatever the task assigned to me, I have completed it or not, will be the goal of the software engineering process. So the part that we will focus now on the syllabus perspective, the first chapter, basically see there will be only 6 chapters. First three units will be in the section 1. So we will see one by one. Okay, the first chapter is very basic chapter, but very important one. Entire syllabus we are going to see inside the first chapter is itself, and once you are clear with the first chapter, you will find out that many repetitions are there in chapter 3, chapter 4, or chapter 6. So first chapter covers each and everything. So the highlighting points for the first chapter is, we will see introduction. Introduction means what is software engineering, what is the definition for the software engineering, and what are the objectives that we should know while we are studying the software engineering. That part we will discuss. Then we will focus on the problem domain, means why there is need to go for the software engineering. Then what are the challenges inside the software development field, that challenges we will understand, and once we understand the challenge, which approach we need to select to solve the problem. So problems and their solutions we will discuss. Then we will focus on the software process. Now just now I told you, process means it tells us what to do, how to do, when to do, to reach at a certain goal. We call it as one process. Example, we have said that I am in a Pandharpur and want to reach to Solapur. So Pandharpur to Solapur, there are different methods, different ways to reach to the Solapur. So which process you need to follow? That process, it tells us what to do, how to do, and when to do to reach at a certain goal. I can reach to Solapur by bus. Go to bus stand Pandharpur, select the bus, pay the fee or the ticket, and reach to the Solapur. Or I can call a cab, I can hire a cab, I can start my journey, I can reach my destination, and the pay. The way you will reach will be decided by the different factors. So we will understand the process. Then what are the characteristics of the process? We need to focus. So suppose I have started my journey from Pandharpur and I am just reached to Mohar. And once I reach to Mohar, the bus driver saying that, sir, sorry, I can't drive further. So will you be there only, or you will try to reach back to your original position, or whether you will take different alternatives? So whatever the process you are going to apply, that process has to have some characteristics. So that process we will understand as a part of a characteristic. So basically only 5 characteristics are there that we will understand. So characteristics of the software process we are going to study. Then the most important part of the chapter, we will focus on the software development process model. Understand here, process models. Software development means, simply remember, analysis, designing, coding, testing, and deployment. These are the software development life cycle. So anyhow, any project you are going to develop, you will work with the 5 steps. The first step is analysis. Second step is designing. Third is development, that is coding. Next is testing. And fifth is a deployment. So deployment means giving the product to the user. So this same process, you can represent it in different manners. So the very first phase or the very first model, it is known as waterfall process model. Second is prototype model. Third is iterative development model. Then incremental model, spiral model, then RUP, which stands for Rational Unified Process Model, then time boxing model, and the last is agile process model. That's the syllabus of the chapter 1. So maximum part of your what we can say syllabus is going to get covered into the first chapter itself. And once you are clear with your first chapter, everything will be more clear coming to next chapters, that is second chapter to the end of the syllabus. So whatever the parts we will try to cover, understand. If any issue, any problem with respect to that, you can supposed to interact me at any moment. So I want the whole session to be an interactive sessions, not only the monotonous, that only one person is speaking and rest has to just listen. No. Any doubt, any query, at any moment, you can either raise the hand or you can start your mic and you can ask the question. Is it clear? Basic chapter, basic idea about the unit 1. We'll move to the next chapter. But any doubt so far? Quickly. Yes, no?
No, sir.
Okay. So coming back to the second chapter, comparative to the first chapter, very small chapter, hardly 2 to 3 lectures, we can able to complete the syllabus. So the first, after this, the second chapter focusing on SRS part. SRS, last lecture we have discussed. SRS stands for Software Requirement Specification. So SRS, we will focus on the basic idea, what customer is looking for, what are the customer's expectations, and based on the customer expectations, the things what we need to take into the consideration, what are the documentation process will be there, we need to. Okay. So need of an SRS. SRS means if we take example of the previous example, that is civil engineer is there, civil engineer and end user is interacting. So civil engineer asks a simple question, what you want? So customer said that I want a bungalow. That bungalow specification is funded out by the civil engineer. That is what 2-bedroom hall and kitchen. So that is what SRS part. In 2-bedroom hall and kitchen, only the one word, but the detailed description, that bedroom, master bedroom, size of master bedroom, how many windows will be there, where the door will be there, what will be the size of the door, all the description in detail will be there in the SRS part. So SRS part is nothing but writing a proper specification. Why there is need to go for this SRS? Simply, once customers say that I want a bungalow, civil engineer said that the bungalow having 2-bedroom hall and kitchen, so 2 BHK, the size is around 1500 square feet. So they mutually sit together and decides the time and budget and the quality parameter. So whatever they have discussed, suppose they said, okay, done, I want to go for this. And after 7 or 8 months, customer is saying that, no, I said that my budget is only 30 lakh, but already investment was there up to around 50 lakh. Who is going to bear that 20 lakh? Or it might be the case that customer said that I'm okay with the 50 lakh and civil engineer has developed that bungalow. And while charge handover is there, or while the customer is going there to stay in his or her bungalow, at that time civil engineer is saying that the budget of the bungalow is exceeded and now you have to pay the 60 lakh. Will that customer will pay? Definitely not. So to solve such a problems, there should be proper agreement. That agreement in technical language we are calling MOU, mutual understanding or contract. We can say simply is the contract. In the contract, both the parties, civil engineer and the customer, will sit together and will write one document. In the document, they will mention that I am having this land of 2000 square feet, out of which I'm going to develop the bungalow for 1500 square feet, in which there will be a 2-bedroom, hall, kitchen with the following details. And at the end, they will make a sign each on each of the document, so that if something goes wrong, they need to adhere to the agreement they have made. So that agreement will be based on the software requirement analysis and specification. So this is need for the agreements. Is it clear? And while we are writing or while we are working on the chapter 2, we will focus on the need of SRS. That is what I have said right now. Then characteristics of a good SRS. You will make an agreement, but that agreement, it must be in such a style both the parties able to understand it. There should not be any ambiguity. It should be clear, having only one meaning. That is very important. So we will understand the characteristics of SRS. Then we will understand the requirement process. So requirement process, simply I can say that it is a way you will try to find out customers' expectations, what actually the customer is looking for. So maybe there are the questions. So continuously keep asking the questions to the end user. And after taking the end users interactions, we will start writing the document. So writing that document means writing focusing on functional specifications with the use case. So here basically we can focus on the data flow diagrams and ER diagrams, known as entity relationship diagrams. Very simple chapter, but again very, very important part. Is it clear? Chapter 2?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now the most, again, after analysis part, as per the software development process, analysis done, output of the analysis phase is SRS. So that SRS will be given as an input to the next phases. After analysis, the next phase is design phase. How the software engineer will perform the design, that we are going to study in the unit 3, that is software architecture and design. So let us see the syllabus. So this is very basic syllabus. Introduction to the design process. Design means simply remember the diagrams for at this level. So we are going to draw the different diagrams. So different diagrams, again different examples will be there. So just a second. Just a second, I will show you one simple example where why we need to go for the design. So this is what the bungalow. Now you can easily see this is what the bungalow. Everyone can easily see. My screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
But when I say I want to go for detailed designs, so detailed design, see here.
Asan Bihan
Sorry.
is good at
See,
Say it.
Okay, now see the bungalow. The first is a very simple view. Anyone can easily understand. The second is again designer's view. So this is what civil engineer prepares before going for actual construction. Same concept we need to do while we are going to develop the software. Before having the final product, how my software will look like. So this will be a general view where will be hall, kitchen, bedroom, the parking space, etc. will be discussed here. The same concept is there. While we are going to develop the software product, we need to understand what are the scenarios and how we are going to work with this. So we need to focus on the architectural and designer plan. So the designer plan will be separate for the person who is working on electrical system, the person who is working on slab system. So different views, different perceptions will be there. So this chapter means as far as your university marks, that is IC, will be considered ESC, sorry. So maximum weightage will be there on the chapter 3 because the length of the chapter is bit high and the points are very, very important. So while we are going to perform the design, we need to think in the designer's perspective. We need to understand the principle of the design. Then we need to decide the relationship between the two entities so that we can able to have a proper coordination. And to achieve the proper coordinations, we can think about the two concepts called as one cohesion and coupling. So what is cohesion? What is coupling? What are the different levels of the cohesion and coupling? That part we will discuss in details in the chapter 3. So I can simply say the conclusion about the chapter 3 is we need to go for the different diagrams. To draw the different diagrams, we need to prepare the different views, and to prepare the different views, we need to decide the relationship among who else will be there. And that relationship will be defined in the two styles, whether they are having the relationship as a coupling or cohesion. Coupling means simply pairing and cohesion means simply a strong bond. So whether it is just a dependent relationship or strong relationship, that we need to identify as a part of a cohesion and coupling. So that is what the third chapter we will focus. Then next, moving to the chapter called as what the testing. As the name suggests, testing. Testing means whatever is developed, whether there is correct or wrong. That is what we need to find out. We call it as what? Testing. Remember, testing means what? Whether it is correct or wrong. So developer has developed the product, coding part done. So now you are playing the role as a tester. So what you will do? You will run the program, you will give the input, and you will check whether expected output is there or not. That part we are calling simply as a testing. So when we should start the testing, what will be the process of the testing, what else entities are involved to perform the testing, that we will understand as a part of the testing fundamentals, then testing process. And then we will understand whether the testing can be done in the two style. The first is called as what? Black box testing, and second is white box testing. So simply I can say, suppose this is a pen, and I found this pen, and suppose I had just started the pen and I will check whether it is writing or not. So that is also one type of a testing. That is, I don't know what is inside the pen, what is inside the pen, but I just want to check whether it is writing properly or not. What is inside it, I don't know. So it is called as what? Black box testing. But if I open the pen and I just check whether everything is correct or not, and then I'm performing the testing, that is called as what? White box testing. Means you know the code. See what I'm saying? You know the code, you know the coding standards, and whether that all coding standards are followed or not, that you are checking, called as what? White box testing. Dear friends, maximum recruitment in the IT industry happens in the testing scenario. Lots of peoples we need to have inside the testing scenario. Just a second. एक नंबर मैं आपको व्हाट्सएप कर देता हूँ, वो यूनिवर्सिटी का नंबर है, लेकिन उनको मराठी में बात करना पड़ेगा। तो अभी एक मेरा लेक्चर चल रहा है, लेक्चर खत्म होते ही उनको कॉल करेंगे। आप 3 कॉपीज बना के आओ, जो प्रपोजल हमने यूनिवर्सिटी को सेंड किया है उसके 3 कॉपीज बना के लेके आओ, हम साइन करके उनको आज भेज देंगे। आई हैव लेक्चर टिल 11:30। उसके बाद 2 मिनट का काम, वो तब तक प्रिंट आउट रेडी रखो आप।
ठीक है सर, वो करेंगे। और एक चीज बोलते हैं ना, क्या स्टूडेंट्स
हाँ, उनके इंटरव्यू प्लान करना है। वो मोटे सर से बात करेंगे, मोटे सर या धूमल मैडम सर। ओनली कैप जेमिनी क्वालिफाइड एंड उनका टेस्ट क्लियर हुआ है, खाली इंटरव्यू लेना है। मैं भी ज्वाइन करता हूँ ये क्लास होने के बाद,
मैडम का भी क्लास है।
उसके बाद ही ले लेंगे 11:30। आफ्टर 11:30 यू कैन प्लान।
मैडम की 2 मिनट क्लास है।
तो उससे पहले ले लो बोले, उसके बाद ज्यादा बच्चे नहीं है सर, अराउंड 30-34 स्टूडेंट्स है हमारे क्लास से। वो खत्म कर, सॉरी फॉर द इंटरप्शन। So we were thinking that maximum recruitment in the IT industry into our area is on the testing base. So give more focus while you are studying, because in BE part 1 you have a separate subject there called as what STQA, software testing quality assurance. So we will try to understand the basic scenario here in the chapter as a testing. So again, different types of testings are there. So I have said that what is inside this pen I don't know, but I will just come, I will start the button, I'll check whether the refill is there. Okay, now whether the pen is writing or not. If writing, okay, I will close, shut down, and I will, this is black box testing. Now what I will do, I will open, I will check every component is there or not, all the quantities are as per the expected or not. That is white box testing. And to perform the black box testing and white box testing, different levels are there. So that levels known as unit testing, system testing, and then user satisfactions or UAT, that is user acceptance testing. So simply unit, then integration testing, then system testing and user satisfaction testing. So I'll show you one simple scenario. Is the idea clear? Testing basic part.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's all about the 4 points what we have covered so far. The first is simple introduction to the software engineering. Second, we will focus on the analysis role. Third, we will focus on the diagram parts, designer's role. After designers, I said the next part is coding, but you have done the coding so many times. C coding you have done, C++ coding you have done, Java coding you have done. Now you are studying Python coding. So I'm not going to focus on the coding. Then after the coding, the next phase is testing. So we will try to cover almost all the phases of the software development life cycle: analysis, designers, coders, that is development part, then testing. Is this part clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Coming to the next section, that is what introduction to the section 1. So when we think about the section 2, it is entirely based on the management perspective. Now what is management means? Can anyone? What do you mean by the term called as what management? Yes, is it so tough? Yes, the project planning and management will be our fifth chapter. So we will try to concentrate on the management perspective. Now, what is basic idea about the management? Can anyone tell me?
Sir, dealing or controlling things.
Very good, very good. Any other? Okay.
Planning and performing tasks.
Very good, very good. Planning, monitoring. Very good. So everything is there.
Administration.
Yes.
Administration of any organization.
Okay, okay. Very good, very good, very good. So simply remember, whenever there is a concept called as what management, why I'm giving that much stress in the management, because you might be in touch with the people, those who are already working in some of the organizations, maybe IT industry or any role. After certain age or after getting certain years of an experience, they need to play the role as a manager. Now what will be the role of a manager, that we should know. Manager means the one who is manages each and everything. Now who is manages each and everything means what? Any project having three quantities. First is deadline, second is cost, and third is quality. So manager will be responsible to work out with these three perspectives. And whatever the project you are working in, that project you need the persons called as what? Resource persons, or the manpower who is working on this project. So apart from these three, the fourth point come as a resource person, human being. So manager has to manage these 4 points. First as a time, cost, that is budget, quality, and resources person with up to satisfaction of all. बघा मुद्दाम मी मराठीत बोलतोय, काय म्हणतोय, मॅनेजर म्हणजे काय आहे, जो काही कामाचा तुम्हाला काही अनुभव आल्यानंतर तुमचं प्रमोशन झालं असेल, ते प्रमोशन झाल्यानंतर तुम्ही त्या प्रोजेक्टवर काम करताय, तुमचा रोल काय झाला तिथं मॅनेजर म्हणून, पण तो प्रोजेक्ट ऑलरेडी चालू आहे, मग त्या प्रोजेक्टसाठी त्याच्या टाइमलाईन ठरलेल्या आहेत, त्याचं बजेट ठरलेलं आहे, त्याची क्वालिटी ठरलेली आहे, आणि त्या प्रोजेक्टवर काम करायला काहीतरी रिसोर्सेस आहेत, मग ती ह्युमन बिईंग असतील किंवा मशीन्स असतील, हे तुम्हाला काय करायचं, सगळं मॅनेज करायचं. म्हणजे काय म्हणतो आपण, कोणी नाराज नाही झालं पाहिजे, माझ्या टाइम मध्ये माझा प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट झाला पाहिजे, माझ्या बजेटमध्ये माझा प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट झाला पाहिजे, आणि कस्टमरला जी पाहिजे ती क्वालिटी मला मिळाली पाहिजे, हे म्हणजे मॅनेजरचं रोल आहे. गेटिंग? So inspect and audit the process, whatever the process is going, whether it is correct or wrong. If correct, no need to worry. If wrong, take the corrective actions. Second is software configuration management process. Whatever expected inside the quality, whether all should be there or not, will be understood. So manager plays an important role. The first is understand the plan. काय प्लॅन केलं हे समजून घ्या. त्या प्लॅनवर एक सिंपल एक्झाम्पल सांगायचं झालं, 1 तारखेला आपलं कॉलेज चालू झालं. 1 तारखेला कॉलेज चालू व्हायच्या आधी, being as an head of the department, what I prefer to have whether academic calendar is there, ज्याला आपण टाइम टेबल म्हणू. त्या टाइम टेबल 9:30 ला चालू करायचं, आपल्याला 5:30 ला संपवायचं आहे. किती दिवस काम करायचं आहे आपल्याला, टोटल 3 महिन्याचं ड्युरेशन, म्हणजे ऑलमोस्ट 90 डेज ड्युरेशन. 90 डेज ड्युरेशन मध्ये आपल्याला सगळे किती सब्जेक्ट शिकायचे, आपल्याला 5 सब्जेक्ट. सो वी नीड टू अंडरस्टँड इच अँड एव्हरीथिंग. कोणता सब्जेक्ट कोण घेणार आहे, त्याच्यासाठी तुम्ही रिसोर्सेस अलोकेट करा. ते रिसोर्सेस तुम्ही टाइम टेबल नुसार बनवा, आणि ज्यावेळेस तुमचा ऍक्च्युअल प्रोजेक्ट होईल चालू, म्हणजे काय, ते सगळे टाइम टेबल फॉलो करतात का नाही चेक करायचं आहे. टाइम टेबल नुसार लेक्चर होतात का नाही, ओके होत आहे, काही अडचण नाही, पहिली गोष्ट. दुसरी गोष्ट, टाइम टेबल फॉलो होत नसेल तर आय नीड टू टेक द करेक्ट ऍक्शन, सो दॅट एव्हरीवन हॅज टू फॉलो द टाइम. टाइमला लेक्चर चालू झालं, टाइमला लेक्चर संपलं, हे होतं. दॅट इज व्हॉट द इन्स्पेक्शन अँड ऑडिट प्रोसेस. सेकंड, सॉफ्टवेअर कॉन्फिगरेशन मॅनेजमेंट प्रोसेस. म्हणजे काय, आता मी सांगितलंय 9:30 ला माझं लेक्चर चालू झालंय, 11:30 पर्यंत मी लेक्चर घेणार आहे, पण मी एंगेज केलंय, आय हॅव एंगेज टू द ऑडियन्स. पण जे मला कंटेंट डिलिव्हर करायचे ते जर तुम्हाला समजत नसतील तर काहीतरी प्रॉब्लेम आहे. सो दॅट इज व्हॉट प्रॉब्लेम विथ सॉफ्टवेअर कॉन्फिगरेशन मॅनेजमेंट प्रोसेस. तुम्ही एक्सपेक्ट काय केले, ते एक्सपेक्टेड तुम्ही देताय, पण ते समोरच्याला मिळतंय का नाही, किंवा समोरच्याला कळलंय का नाही, हे सुद्धा फार महत्वाचं आहे. ते अंडरस्टँड करण्याची प्रोसेस म्हणजे सॉफ्टवेअर कॉन्फिगरेशन मॅनेजमेंट प्रोसेस. अजून एक सिंपल एक्झाम्पल घेतो. तुम्ही सिव्हिलचं कन्स्ट्रक्शनचं एक्झाम्पल घेतलं तर बंगलो बांधताय. बंगलो डेव्हलप करताना तुम्ही सांगितलं होतं की मी सिमेंट जे वापरणार आहे ते सिमेंट माझ्याकडे 53 ग्रेडचं सिमेंट मी वापरणार आहे. सिमेंट जे काही यूज करतात त्याच्या वेगवेगळ्या ग्रेड्स असतात. 43 ग्रेड असेल, 42 ग्रेड असेल, किंवा 52 ग्रेड असेल. मग तुम्ही कुठल्या क्वालिटीचं सिमेंट वापरणार आहे, तुम्ही सांगितलं होतं समजा 52 ग्रेडचं सिमेंट वापरणार आहे, पण ज्यावेळेस तुम्ही प्रत्यक्ष काम करताय त्यावेळेस तुम्ही वापरताय 42 ग्रेडचं. म्हणजे काहीतरी चेंज झाला. तुम्ही ठरवलं होतं 52 ग्रेडचं, पण ऍक्च्युअल तुम्ही वापरताय 42 ग्रेडचा. हा जो डिफरन्स आहे, दॅट इज डेव्हिएशन, एक्सपेक्टेड पेक्षा काहीतरी वेगळं आलं हे आयडेंटिफाय करणं, ह्याला म्हणतात कॉन्फिगरेशन मध्ये काहीतरी प्रॉब्लेम आहे. दॅट इज सॉफ्टवेअर कॉन्फिगरेशन मॅनेजमेंट प्रोसेस. म्हणजे फॉर एक्झाम्पल मी कन्सिडर केला मोबाईल मध्ये काहीतरी प्रॉब्लेम झाला, म्हणून मी ह्यांच्याकडे गेलो जे रिपेअर करतात त्यांच्याकडे, आणि त्यांना सांगितलं की मला कंपनीचं ओरिजिनल कंपनीचं साऊंड बसवून द्या. ते होय म्हणले, त्यानुसार मी पैसे ठरवले, आणि ज्यावेळेस मी प्रत्यक्ष मोबाईल घ्यायला गेलो त्यावेळेस त्यांनी साधा साऊंड बॉक्स टाकला त्यामध्ये. तुम्ही ऍक्सेप्ट कराल का तो? डेफिनेटली नॉट. तुम्ही काय सांगितलं होतं की मी कंपनीचं ब्रँडेड टाकणार आहे, पण टाकला कुठला? प्रत्यक्षात लोकल ब्रँडचा. सो स्मॉल चेंज इन द एक्सपेक्टेड कॉन्फिगरेशन नीड टू बी गेट आयडेंटिफाईड. आणि काय होतं सांगतो तुम्हाला, का स्टडी करायचंय. बऱ्याच वेळा असं होतं की मी तुम्हाला कमिटमेंट दिली, फॉर एक्झाम्पल की मी 52 ग्रेडचं सिमेंट वापरेल. आपला प्रोजेक्ट चालू झाला, 2 महिन्यानंतर असं लक्षात आलं की मार्केटमध्ये कुठंच 52 ग्रेडचं सिमेंट शिल्लक नाहीये. मग तुम्ही थांबणार का हो? नाही ना. तुम्हाला काहीतरी त्याच्यामध्ये चेंज करावं लागेल. मग तो काहीतरी चेंज म्हणजे काय? मग त्यावेळेस तुम्ही इमिजिएटली कस्टमरशी इंटरॅक्ट करणं गरजेचं आहे. You will immediately interact with the customer because of some following issues. We cannot able to fetch the 52 grade cement from the market, so we have to do some kind of a compromise. But whatever the compromises we are doing here, we will try to give some extra. मग त्या केस मध्ये ते काय म्हणतील, 2 BHK ठरलं होतं, पण 2 BHK पेक्षा मी तुम्हाला एखादी ऍडिशनल बेडरूम किंवा ऍडिशनल हॉल किंवा पार्किंग स्लॉट, सच काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स वी नीड टू एबल टू आयडेंटिफाय. So that is software configuration management process. Is it clear? Difference?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next is effort estimation. Effort estimation means what I can say, who is going to play the role. तुम्ही सांगितलं की तुमच्याकडे 10 लोक अवेलेबल आहेत, मग त्या 10 लोकांमध्ये तुम्ही कुणाला कुठला रोल देणार आहात. दॅट इज व्हॉट एफर्ट एस्टिमेशन. तो रोल म्हणजे मी सांगितलं तुम्हाला की ए रोल प्ले करेल अनालिस्टचा, डेव्हलपरचा रोल बी करेल, देन डिझायनरचा रोल सी करेल. मग त्यासाठी तुम्हाला रिसोर्सेस माहित पाहिजेत. त्या रिसोर्सेसला तो प्रोजेक्ट कम्प्लीट करायला किंवा ते जे दिलेलं टास्क आहे ते कम्प्लीट करायला किती वेळ लागणार आहे हे सगळं फाइंड आउट करणं, त्या प्रोसेसला आपण म्हणतोय टू ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टँड दी एफर्ट एस्टिमेशन. आणि एकदा एफर्ट एस्टिमेशन झालं की तुम्ही तुमच्या प्रोजेक्टचं शेड्यूल फाईन करू शकता. स्टाफिंग म्हणजे किती मॅन पॉवर लागणार आहे तुम्हाला, हु एल्स इज इन्व्हॉल्ड इन टू द प्रोजेक्ट, वी आर कॉलिंग इट एज व्हॉट स्टाफिंग. प्रोजेक्ट शेड्यूल म्हणजे तुम्ही तुमच्या डेडलाईन ठरवायच्या. आता कस्टमरच्या डेडलाईन्स वेगळे असतील आणि डेव्हलपमेंट टीमच्या डेडलाईन्स वेगळे असतील. म्हणजे कस्टमरला जर मी सांगितलं असेल की मला दसऱ्याला प्रोडक्ट तुम्हाला रेडी करून द्यायचं आहे, पण त्याच्या आधी माझा 10 दिवस प्रोडक्ट रेडी पाहिजेत माझ्या साईज कडून. सो दॅट इज व्हॉट वी आर थिंकिंग अबाउट ॲज अ पार्ट ऑफ अ प्रोजेक्ट शेड्युलिंग. देन क्वालिटी प्लॅनिंग. आता क्वालिटीचे आपण बेसिक आयडिया पाहिली कालच्या लेक्चरला की क्वालिटी डिपेंड्स ऑन द एंड युजर and end user has to decide their own quality. So different quality concepts are there. So while we are working on this chapter, again we will revise few points over there. So quality will be get decided by the end users. Then to decide that quality, we have to bring them awareness, and that bringing them awareness will be decided as a qualitative quality management plan. That will be again decided by the resources who are working on that project. Next is CMM, project management process. Again the CMM stands for capability maturity model, which is telling us the different standards IT industries are working. So there are 5 levels. I will repeat: initial, repeatable, defined, managed and optimized. So manager has to define on which standards they need to work. That is what CMM, project management process. And the last point, project monitoring plan. So these are the basic points we are going to cover in the chapter number 5. Very simple one, very what we can say, it is very static process, but that static process has to has a lot of dynamic perspectives to understand it. किंवा मी मराठीत म्हणू शकतो हा प्युअर थिअरॉटिकल कन्सेप्ट आहे, पण तुम्ही वाचलं तर समजणार नाही, पण त्याचं एक्झाम्पल्स जर तुम्ही घेतले तर ते तुम्हाला क्लिअर होत जाते. सो मॅक्सिमम फोकस वी विल ट्राय टू गिव्ह विथ एक्झाम्पल्स सो दॅट यू कॅन रिमेंबर द theoretical part. I hope the basic idea is clear with respect to chapter number 5, project planning and management. So this is the first phase of the management activities, that is called as what? Planning. So to do the planning, what you need to decide the process, you need to perform the audit, you need to understand the resources available, we need to understand the total efforts, and based on the efforts, we can able to decide the deadlines, cost, that is budget, and the quality parameters. That is the basic idea about the unit number 5. Now, focusing on the unit number 6, as I rightly said to you, this is agile project management, the latest concept which most of the IT companies nowadays are implementing, that is agile project management. Agile, if we see the dictionary meaning of the agile means up to the marks, or up to the exact requirement. So suppose I have started the lecture around 9:30. It's almost 1 hour, and almost from since 1 hour only I am speaking, you all are listening. So it becomes kind of a monotone. So we need to shift to the some extent what my end users are looking for. मग एंड युजरला माझ्या काय पाहिजे त्यानुसार मी लगेच येस प्रथमेश, there is hand raised by Prathamesh. Okay. Okay, no sir. Okay, no sir. So what I am saying that what end means immediately. Suppose I take just example. Prathamesh says raise the hand. Whether Prathamesh has raised the hand or not, and immediately what action I am taking, that is nothing but agile. Getting what I'm saying? Rather than that, I said that I am the lecturer and I am going to speak only for the rest 2 hours, will not be accepted. That was earlier scenario, but the today's scenario is what? It is an agile process. So whatever there the end user, whatever your customer is looking for, whether you are able to deliver it right now or not, that is what understanding and doing the changes, that process is called as what? Agile process. And implementing the agile process while managing the project. Now project management means simply I said managing your timeline, managing your budget and quality with resource person, 4 points. Managing the 4 points with the latest scenario. That latest means dynamic scenario we are calling agile project management. So we will introduce APM, that is agile project management. Then how the agile project management system works. There are the 2 ways. First is the iterative project management life cycle and second is adaptive. Iterative means I will set my own standards and based on the standards we will work. Second is adaptive means immediate change, that change will be accepted and based on that change the next part will be done. So that is adapting, integrating the agile project management toolkit. So assigning the different new roles and responsibilities, we can work with the project scenario. That is agile project management. That is chapter number 6. Then we will focus on one most important part called as what? Scrum concept. So outcome of this chapter 6 is on this Scrum. And based on the Scrum, we are going to assign different roles and responsibilities. So what we can say the conclusion part of the chapter number 6 is based on the science of the Scrum. So we'll focus on the science of Scrum. So that's all the syllabus. Only 6 chapters are there. Starting from the introduction, then second is analysis role, third is a designer, and fourth is a testing. Fifth is a basic project management, and the 6th chapter we will focus on the analysis, and 6th chapter we will focus on agile project management scenarios. So only 6 chapter, let's say compared to what we can say very small syllabus because of only 6, but the vast contents are there basically in the chapter 1 and chapter 3 only. Other chapters are very simple and very small one. As far as the curriculum part is considered, the books that we are going to work is Integrated Approach to Software Engineering. The author of the book is Mr. Pankaj Jolote. The specific editions we will focus is the 3rd edition. Then second is Effective Project Management, Traditional, Agile, Extreme. And the author of this is Robert with the 6th edition, and the publisher is Villay India. Software Project Management in the Practice, again by Author is Mr. Pankaj Jolati and the publisher is Pearson India Limited. Apart from the textbook, different reference books, we are going to have a look are Software Engineering by Mr. Ian Somerville, 6th edition. Again, the publisher is Pearson Education Asia. Then Software Engineering Fundamentals by Mr. Ali Bihoros and Frederick Hudson by Oxford University Press. Project management with Scrum, that I said, maximum focus of the chapter 6 will be on the Scrum science, and the book we will prefer will be Project Management with the Scrum, Ken Squire. Next, Project Engineering, a precise approach by Pankaj Jolati, that is again very precise textbook. So these are the basic points we will study. Okay. I'm the subject in charge for this small introduction already given. Contact number, names, I'm just sharing with you. As far as just for briefing about educational background completed, I did my BE Computer Science and Engineering in 2005 from Shivaji University. Then I have started working with IBM as a what we can say as a manual testers. Then I was there for more than 6 years. I played different roles, and simultaneously I took an admission to MTech. This I have completed my ME Computer Science and Engineering from Solapur University. And in 2012, because of some family responsibilities, I have to left the IT industry and I have switched to the academic parts. And being is in the academic, understood that you have to have with highest educations in that field. So I have decided to go for PhD. I completed my after post graduation. I took an admission to PhD and completed in what we can say with the specialization as Internet of Things, IoT. My research topic of an IoT is to compare with the different protocols in the wireless, and while comparison, what will be the optimal solutions that I did inside the IoT with so many research publications, patents, and all the parts. So that's the basic idea about me. Experience, as I shared, I'm having an IT industry experience almost for more than 6 years, and almost more than eight years. We can say that I'm in the academic parts. So, any query so far? Any suggestion so far?
No, sir.
I'll start with the chapter 1. So just give me a 2 second.